Hello and welcome to another episode of GNPC in the News, highlighting details of major activities from across the corporation this week. In the headline, GNPC highlights the Voltaian Basin Project and opportunities for local participation at the 2023 Ghana Oil and Gas Conference in Accra. My name is Samuel Ofosu. And now the details. The Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, participated in the two-day Ghana Oil and Gas Conference organized by the Ghana Upstream Petroleum Chamber in Accra to discuss the outlook of Ghana's oil and gas industry within the context of global transition toward green.
Representing GNPC CEO, O.A. Dankwa, at this year's conference, General Manager Engineering Mr. Victor Sunu-Attah made a presentation on the development of the Voltaian Basin to a gathering of oil and gas experts, industry leaders, and other key stakeholders at the conference. Highlighting the myriad of entry points for local players in the prospecting and potential full exploration activities in the basin, Mr. Sunu-Attah explained that Ghana's foray into onshore activities will unlock unprecedented opportunities to Ghanaian businesses and investors to take up active roles in the oil and gas sector.
With the upcoming drilling operations, there are a number of opportunities. To drill, you need a drilling rig. It's a huge one. So anybody who can invest in a drilling rig or come to GNPC and say, look, I have a drilling rig I can lease to you, the person is welcome. And together with the drilling, the OCTG, that's the tubulars, the casings that are required to drill the wells, are also something that people can look at, because we'll be drilling more than a kilometer into the earth's bowel, maybe even 2 kilometers. So it tells you if you are drilling 2 or 3 wells, the opportunities regarding OCTG. So that's an area that people can look at.
Exciting as the prospects are, Voltaian Basin is a novel attempt by Ghana to develop oil wells on land. But what lesson could be learned from the experience of a much bigger African oil producer, Nigeria? Engineer Kamoru Busari, Director for Upstream at Nigeria's Ministry of Petroleum and Resources, has some advice.
You are going from offshore, which is on sea, to land, for example. So that movement, you should back it up with the necessary laws and regulations that will make you carry along the people. Because there are people on land. There's nobody on sea. So you are going to impact the lives of the people on land, since you are moving on land now. And the earlier you have good laws and regulations that will factor those people into what you are doing in such a way that they will take ownership.
With a heightened global focus on halting the production and consumption of fossil-based systems of energy, including oil, natural gas, and coal, countries with untapped oil and gas reservoirs face unique challenges of finding balance, but Senior Vice President and Head of the Ghana Business Unit of Cosmos Energy, Mr. Joe Mensah, believes there's a way.
It's always nice to see GNPC up front, talking about these things here. I think what they shared about the Voltaian stuff, it's probably new to about 80% of the populace. It tells you that there's a lot more education that we have to do to get everybody aligned for us to be able to drive these resources. Yes, energy transition is alive and well, but we have to accept it as is, but not lose focus that we still have to develop our resources to develop our country.
Also at the conference, and though giant strides have been made in the past few years, some participants at the conference bemoaned the limited presence and participation of women along the oil and gas value chain.
We mainstream gender. Gender is no longer on the side. Everything that you do, the lenses. So even your policymakers, your managers have to be trained to understand that diversity is part of strategy. All right. So if you do not include women or you don't include people with disability in your strategy, then your strategy is not complete.
Bringing the successful two-day forum to a close, President of the Ghana Upstream Petroleum Chamber, Mr. David Ampofo, said the event offered critical insights into Ghana's still fledgling petroleum sector.
It's education, more than anything else. I mean, I've learned some stuff here today I didn't know. I'm sure you also have. And it's very important to do that. It's a cross-fertilization of ideas, to exchange ideas in an industry that we all belong to, an industry with huge potential. I don't think we fully sometimes appreciate it. I think this industry alone can fix the country, just this industry, if it's done a certain way. This conference is key. We want to do a conference every year as a chamber, institutionalize it. You see, there are various oil and gas conferences, but there's something to be said about when you bring the industry itself into a conference. So the players are there, people in exploration and production, companies in the service sector, international service companies, Ghanaian service companies. We bring people together.
Reporting for GNPC TV, I am Christina Akufojo.
And once again, my name is Samuel Ofosu. Thanks so much for tuning in to this week's episode of GNPC in the News. Do have a great week.